I know I pointed out in one of my previous videos that the translation quality lately was a bit iffy, but you know what? Iffy translation or not, it's still technically canon as it appears in official media. So I went back through volume 1 taking these quote-unquote mistranslations as fact at face value, and I've gotta say, I've cooked up a crazy theory. The translation errors are usually pretty minor, with stuff like, oh, they're referring to Rinku as a boy and Sheikah's saying she isn't a girl. But then there are instances like this, which kind of flip the entire meaning of the sentence. Or do they? When they're working at the doghouse, Belle says, "You and Shi-chan," while talking to Shi-chan. This doesn't make any sense and would be considered a garden variety mistake by most people. But I know that Donuts Games is just playing 5-dimensional chess here. This is actually a hint that Belle canonically has multiple personalities. If we take the whole sentence, it says, "You and Shi-chan are both treated like daughters," and in this context, this is specifically daughters of Belle's dad. So the only person the "you" in this sentence could be referring to is Belle. But Belle is the one talking, so she'd have to be talking to herself. Which, again, doesn't make sense unless we consider my theory today that Belle has multiple personalities. At first, I thought I could deduce exactly who this extra personality was because a few seconds later, when Sheikah calls out to Belle's dad, the one who responds is none other than Belle herself. So the extra personality could be her dad, right? That could explain why she's so obsessed with money if it turned out that she was actually secretly the one managing the club with her other personality. Maybe, but I did find evidence against it being Belle's dad. Firstly, even though she responds when her dad is called out to, she's not responding as him, but rather for him, referring to her dad as he rather than I. Because Belle never refers to her father as anything other than her dad, I think the two personalities inside of Belle are both his daughters. And furthermore, I think a scene from chapter 1 gives us a solid candidate other than Belle's father. In this scene, it's 1, made canon through another mistranslation that Amy wears Belle's name tag for some reason. And 2, it's explained that Belle doesn't like to be called Belle, but would rather be called Misuzu. Later on, however, Belle doesn't really put up much of a fuss when she's referred to as Belle. My theory is that Misuzu is the name of her other personality, which is why she didn't want to be called Belle at the time. Let's move on to our next quote-unquote mistranslation. I think the most egregious example that I gave of a mistranslation is when Belle says it's her treat when she's supposed to be saying it's Sheikah's treat, which is the exact opposite. This, like the other cases, seems to be just a classic case of mistranslation. But what if it wasn't? And what if the Belle who offered to treat Sheikah and the Belle who says that other people's money is the best seasoning are two different personalities, essentially making it so Belle treats herself? Additionally, Amy's line says that she said she'd buy her coffee, but she's eating donuts too. This sentence is initially thought by many to say that Sheikah offered to treat Belle, who took advantage of that and ordered donuts too. However, the use of non-specific pronouns means that it could also read that Belle, who is eating donuts, is the same person who offered to treat Amy to a coffee, thus supporting the multiple personality Belle theory. See guys, these aren't translation errors, but the planting of some truly deep lore. They say that the EN side of D4DJ is neglected because we don't get collabs, but only we get these EN exclusive lore drops, like Sheikah being non-binary or Date-chan doing public math performances or something, and Belle needing to take her meds. Dude, what am I writing?